name is Sarah Gonzalez, and I'm Director of Graduate Programs at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas's William S. Boyd School of Law. In this video, I will go over how do you find the right program. As I mentioned in my previous videos, there are over 200 law schools here in the United States with different levels of accreditation, so you do want to look for ABA accredited law schools. Even with ABA accredited programs, you have a number of different options. So when it comes to choosing the right school, there may be a couple factors that you want to consider. Some may be location. Do you want to experience this different 4 seasons in the United States, or perhaps live in an area close to mountains or the beach, or have a big city or more suburban life experience? For others, it may be the reputation of the school. Many international candidates looking for a law program may immediately just think of U.S. News and World Report and looking rankings of a particular program. I would really encourage applicants to look outside and look at the broader reputation of that particular program, because U.S. News and World Report is great for rankings for JD programs. For LLM programs, U.S. News uses statistics for JD admissions in regards to the LSAT score, the GPAs, the career prospects of all these different components. So when it comes to picking an LLM experience, U.S. News and World Report will not align with the LLM experience. So when you're looking at LLM programs, I really encourage you to look at the broader reputation of that particular institution. Do they offer conferences, symposiums, professional networking opportunities as part of that LLM program? What is the reputation of the faculty that teach within the program? Many times your network within an LLM program will vary depending on the faculty that are teaching through that program. What organizations are they connected with? You have those opportunities to connect and network professionally through those symposiums or conferences. And so there are instances where I have known alumni that have gotten positions based on the network and connections of some of those faculty members. So you do want to look at the broader aspect of reputation and accessibility to resources. Another element that students will want to consider are courses, accessibility of courses. And so when it comes to taking courses within an LLM program, you are going to have some LLM programs that are specific to just the requirements or the curriculum that have been outlined and approved by the faculty. So you could only take these, 10 courses, 5 courses, depending on the unit load. You will have some LLM programs that will have a list of required courses and then give you elective courses where you can choose within a particular set of courses or the broad spectrum of all the courses available at the law school. And so that's another element you want to check with the different law programs that you're considering, is how accessible are some of those courses. Will you be able to take that random bankruptcy course as part of your LLM curriculum? A fourth element to consider are availability of some of these experiential programs. And so one of the great benefits of doing legal education in the U.S. is being able to get access to clinics or externship programs where you can gain some work experience in the field by connecting with some of the organizations that do the work. So for example, at UNLV, our specialization is in gaming law. So for many of the students, they will do externships as part of the program. And with these externships, I currently have a student working with Sands International, another one with William Hill with sports betting, another one working with the D Casino in downtown Las Vegas. So the ability to be able to connect with some of these major organizations can be a big benefit for a particular program. So you will need to check with the school that you're applying for to look at some of these elements and whether or not you can get practice as part of your LLM curriculum. And then any special characteristics that may be important to you. Studying law in the U.S. can be very consuming. You're going to go through the courses, you're going to be given a lot of reading, and you want to find that balance with something that you enjoy. So being in Las Vegas, there you are always going to find something to do, because some concert's going to be here from some major musician, or the shows that are here on the strip. What many people don't realize is we are also surrounded by mountains. Zion National Park, Grand Canyon are just a couple hours drive away. Los Angeles is just a couple hours drive away. And we have a lot of different hiking and outdoors elements that are here in the Las Vegas area. But you want to make sure that you find something that balances your areas of interest with your legal education. Making the decision to come to the U.S., whether it's 1 year for an LLM or 3 years for a JD, is a wonderful cross-cultural experience. And so taking advantage of the fact that you can go through and experience U.S. culture in addition to your education is an important component of choosing the right law school. When it comes to finding a law school, I have a couple resources that I would recommend to students. One is the Law School Admissions Council. Actually has a directory of law schools where you can look at all the ABA accredited schools. With the LSAC directory, it actually gives you an option to put in your parameters. I am looking for a small, medium law school within the East Coast, West Coast, whatever region, specializing in X, Y, and Z. And so depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for a general program, putting the locations and some of these elements may be great to narrow down your results to find the right program. When it comes to areas of specialization, focus on that specialization and do the search that way, because the different specializations are offered in various locations. And so you don't want to limit yourself when it comes to that search. I will also include a link that the ABA has on their website that lists all of the approved specializations offered for law schools across the nation. So that would be a great way if you're looking for a specialized program in a particular area. So there's only a certain number of programs that offer like a space law or a maritime law. I mean, we are the only program in the world offering gaming law. So if you're interested in a particular area, search the specializations first without putting the parameters for location, just so you know what programs are available in those areas of specialization. And again, look for ABA accreditation. So if you're using LSAC, LSAC will be able to give you just the ABA accredited programs. When it comes to what to expect in the classroom, that's going to be different depending on what country you're coming from. Legal education in the U.S. Is offered in a variety of different formats. Each of the different LLM programs will be different. Some will be fairly small, where it's a small cohort of students going through a program. Some will be fairly large, where you may have 100 other LLM students going through the program with you. Some will be integrated within the JD program, so you will be in a classroom with both LLM and JD students together. And some will be separate with just LLM students. And so those are elements you'll want to consider when picking the right program. Is how big is that program? How accessible are the faculty? Will I be able to connect with other students that are going through the program and connect with some of the U.S. students going through the program? There are lots of pros and cons with the demographics and the diversity of students going through an LLM program. So you will want to consider that. Legal education in the U.S. is also taught differently. Depending on what country you're from, you may be used to a lecture format where much of your time is writing down notes and paying attention to what the faculty member is doing. In the U.S., much of law school is taught using what's called the Socratic method, whereas a faculty member, they are expecting that you have done your advanced reading and that you are prepared for class prior to class starting, and then they will call on you so that you are able to understand the law by questioning the law, understanding the law by kind of talking through and responding. So you do have to be prepared prior to class, and because faculty will call on you in many of the law school programs. You may be in a grading system where the final exam, which is the exam you take at the conclusion of the course, is the majority of your grade. And so there are different grading systems when it comes to legal education for LLM programs. Some will have a separated curve where it's just the LLM students. Some programs will have the the curve where you're graded in competition with some of the JD programs, and so how well you do in that classroom is dependent on how well you did in comparison to everyone else. And so in that particular grading system, you want to be aware that the average class may be a B plus is the average, and half the class is above and half the class is below. So the grading system will be different. Here at UNLV, it's a little bit different. LLM students are graded on a pass-fail basis, so you're focusing just on learning the content and not necessarily the A, B, C, D grade you would get at the end. And so that's one element you want to consider when choosing the program, is how integrated that is. You will be in the classroom, as well as what that grading system will be for that particular law school. When it comes to what to do after the LLM program, many students are looking to qualify for a bar exam. And so again, the US is a little bit different in regards to our legal system and qualifying for the bar. We don't have one unified bar exam. Each of the different states will regulate the different bar exams required to practice in their particular states. So with 50 states in the US, there are about 35 bar exams that will recognize an international first degree of law, and will require either law practice or that you do a 1-year LLM program to qualify for the bar exam. When it comes to the different bars, each of those different states will have different requirements. You may have some of the states, a handful of states will participate in the multi-state bar exam, where they will have different requirements than the California bar exam, which will require maybe 12 units of CURE coursework or general U.S. law coursework to qualify for their particular bar exam. You'll need to do your research to figure out which state you would like to take the bar exam in. Choosing a law school is not directly limit you to just taking that state bar exam. You could go to a law school and in Nebraska and sit for a California or New York bar exam. They're looking for the LLM degree is that qualifying degree, but you could choose to attend a law school different from the bar that you're looking to sit for. And again, look at those different requirements. Here in Nevada, we do have students that will do our specialized program, and many of those specialized program students will sit and qualify for the Nevada bar exam. There's no CURE coursework required, so again, you want to do your research in regards to where you're looking at practicing and what you're looking at doing. California will require that you take a certain sequence of courses to qualify for that bar exam. One of the good websites that I would recommend for students is looking at ncbex.org. This is a great resource for those that want to look up each of the different state bar exams and what the requirements are to qualify for a bar exam. One element I do recommend that students consider is you can submit your foreign transcripts to the bar exam prior to starting your LLM program to make sure that your first degree of law qualifies for the bar exam. And so there are some countries that will offer an LLB in law that is done in conjunction with the business program or some other elements where it's some sort of hybrid program. When you're looking at deciding if you're going to do a JD or an LLM program, it is a good idea to submit your transcripts to the California, New York, or whichever bar exam that you're looking at qualifying for to get a qualification letter that then will let you know that your first degree of law qualifies for the bar exam, but you need to do X, Y, and Z coursework to be able to sit. Knowing that ahead of time is very helpful so that you know that your program qualifies and you can jump right into an LLM to qualify for that bar exam. Or if the bar examiners come back and say, well, you went through this business law program, it's not quite a first degree of law, you will have to take a first degree of law to qualify for the US. You then have the time to transition and look for a JD program rather than starting that LLM if you won't be able to qualify with your home law degree. And so when it comes to practicing law in the U.S., understanding the different bar exams and the requirements can be very important. In the next video, I'll go over the application process for the various programs, and tips for applying when it comes to legal education.